Good morning, everybody. We're going to go ahead and get started. Thank you very much for coming today. Hope everybody's morning is off to a good start and you enjoyed our keynote presentation this morning. Yeah? Yep. Maybe? Good. All right. Well, my name is Mark Johnson. I'm one of the co-producers of this track, Track E, which is the leadership track, which I'm excited about. And today I'm just going to go ahead and get started with some brief introductions. I'll have the presenters introduce themselves in detail, but we have Marcus Gilg. Marcus, would you raise your hand? Marcus?
Yeah.
Raise your hand if you're Marcus. Yes, there's Marcus. Asha's easy to identify. There's Asha. Let's see, and then we have Sebastian Fischer. So Sebastian, and that leaves Christian. Furber, if I pronounce that correctly. They're going to share, they have a presentation today, they're going to share slides during the presentation. We're going to save 10 minutes at the end for Q&A, and we do have a number of questions also from our virtual audience coming in even already before it started, so we'll have a few questions from the audience. With that in mind, I'll let you guys go ahead and introduce yourselves with background, and we'll get started.
Thank you, Mark. Just to bring in a presentation. Oh, perfect. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you very much, Mark, for this introduction. We're happy to be here, and warm welcome to the audience and all the people who join us online. I'm a CEO of Regio Bus. My name is Marcus, and together with my colleagues, I would like to give you an overview of our data strategy, of our data excellence project, and how we improve our normal data project to a data performance management. But first of all, I would like to give you a short overview of Regio Bus, who we are and where we're located. DB Regio Bus is a subsidiary of Deutsche Bahn. It's the largest bus operator in Germany and one of the largest in Europe. With around 9,000 people, we transport more than 400 million people per year, and we operate a fleet of around 10,000 buses. We are organized in 6 regions, and our headquarters is Frankfurt. Our business, or our core business, is focused on city and regional traffic, and our business is also fierce competition and very price sensitive. Our market is organized in traffic areas, and each traffic area is assigned in a tender. And in a tender, you normally have to make an offer for a price per kilometer. And so, for example, in the area or in the city area of Frankfurt, we will make an offer for €2 per kilometer we need for, and another competitor says, okay, I need €1.99 per kilometer, so we are out of this traffic for at least 8 years. That's the normal contract duration. And because of this fierce competition, it's very necessary for us, or very important for us, that we have accurate data to control our business. Besides this normal business, we do some investments in innovations and new mobility. On the left-hand side, you can see one of our autonomous buses. We're driving a network in a small village in Bavaria called Bad Birnbach. And for example, after you have some beer in a beer garden and you want to go home, you can book one of our autonomous shuttles via our on-demand platform wherever you want to bring it from a bus stop near to the beer garden to a bus stop near to your hotel. Besides these investments and innovations, we also renew our fleet with hydrogen and electric buses, and this is very important for us because therefore we also need some accurate data to transport, to calculate, and to make the disposition for this traffics. But now let's coming to our project, to our data excellence program, to our data performance management. On this slide, you can see the reason, the strategy, and the way we are and the why we are going towards a data performance management. But I would like to tell you the story behind this slide. At the beginning, years ago, before we started our data project, we had a lot of problems with our quality of data, especially in the production costs. And the worst data was in the maintenance cost. So, and I thought I had a great idea to solve these problems, but it wasn't a great idea. I tried, or maybe not I tried, I took the maintenance costs, made a KPI by equate them with the total kilometers driven, and afterwards I made a dashboard with it in which I compare our 6 regions all together. And I thought, because normally when my colleagues see standings and rankings, the ambition is accused because everybody wants to be better than the other region. So we had a fierce competition between the north and the south. And so I thought, with this standings, I can go to my COO board and we can discuss how we could improve our data quality. But the decision went completely in the wrong direction. Instead of talking about how we could improve our data quality, our data processes, and maybe implement a data ownership, I got back with the order to buy a new system. Because they say, the only error is the application. The application is the fault because we have this poor data. And they say, Marcus, you're the IT guy. You have to buy a new system because the old one is so unfriendly, we can't use them. So buy a new system, and after 7 years, when you roll out, we have high quality data. And I said, okay, sounds good, but I get back, and instead of buying a new system, I started the data excellence program in which we fight against the real causes of our data quality problems. And this was the beginning of our data strategy, which is built on 4 pillars: increasing transparency, usage, and quality. We started small years ago. We started fast with small use cases to realize quick wins and to show the improvement of our project. And after we have the first results, we get further, because then we have the company behind us, and we strengthened our technical measurements with implementation of a federated data governance ownership, in which the whole company is involved. Because this was the reason that we could go further with all the technical measurements and the data ownership. But at this stage, it's not enough. And to reach the next level, we saw that speed, more power, and more engagement. And this was the beginning of our data performance management.
Thank you, Marcus. So a warm welcome also from me. I'm Sebastian. I'm not the IT guy, I'm the finance guy. So I'm responsible for the management information system and also for the performance management of our organization. Before we talk about data performance management, let me mention a few facts about our steering logic. A few years ago, when we started with our performance management, we reflected our steering logic, and we thought, how does a compatible and up-to-date steering logic look like? We defined 3 major approaches. First one, we thought it has to be simple and easy. It has to fit to our market structure and also to our organizational structure. This is the main condition to bring steering to life in our mindset. Transferred to our company, this means we have more than 660 contracts, Marcus mentioned. We have a lot of business units, a lot of divisions. So our steering has to enable us to orchestrate all the contracts, all the divisions in a certain line. Second, we want a holistic approach to our performance management. We have the accountability of dedicated contractual obligations. To achieve this, we don't need only finance, not only need HR. We have to look at all possibilities of our value chain, because we are responsible for our contract partners and also for our customers. And the third approach is also very important. We had steering logic in history for sure, but we now want a new level in steering. And the new level in steering is our firm belief that we have to bring steering more powerful and more bring it to the broad organization. We need to create self-responsibility to the people to steer in their own level, in their own individual responsibility. But therefore, a maximum of transparency is necessary, and also availability of all the numbers. So how did we fulfill this ambitious approach? The central part of the answer is a clear structure, especially if we talk about the broad integration of the whole organization. It was important to define who talks with whom about what content, and the answer is, you see on the slides, cascade mechanism. We want to include every organizational level to enable support and also escalation. But not only the levels are important, also a chronological sequence of the performance dialogue is very necessary. So in detail, what does it mean? We are beginning from value, where data or KPIs are produced. And there our operational employees have their dialogue with the business unit leaders. Next, the business unit leaders have the dialogue with the regional managers. And last but not least, the regional managers have their dialogue with the CXO level. And this was a conscious decision. With this structure, we brought a lot of people in the steering impact, and we put them in charge for their individual level and their individual area of responsibility. But in the end, with our 6 regions, more than 40 business units, we have more than 100 performance dialogues we run. So the frame of our performance management is set. But the challenge is to bring this powerful and also accepted to the people. I would mention 3 success factors, which was very important for this change and transformation process. First, as you previously saw, a lot of dialogues we run. And so we had the idea to break out from common routines in finance. We don't want PowerPoint slides for management steering. We don't want to make preparations in Excel, analyze in advance, and a lot of people have to make effort to talk about steering. We make it easier. This is why we instead a digital performance dialogue. So in our management information system, we brought KPIs and dashboard for steering. And this is important because there are real facts and figures. No dressed up or to manually adapted numbers. So we use our system, we use our raw data, and could see the deviations in the system. So we work with the systems and not create workarounds. We all know visualization of KPIs, so also Marcus mentioned in this example, is not a rocket science. It's more important to have a clear definition and to have an easy and comprehensible data line. And there we put a lot of effort in this to find like a common language. And the language is also supported by a user-oriented workflow. So we thought it's very important to give possibilities for benchmarks and also to support the preparation line. So in our management information system, we don't only see the KPIs, we also see the whole drill down to the bus line, to every purchase order, to every maintenance report. So the preparation is also possible in our system, and we help the people in our digital world. In result, we offer now a digital single point of truth for the whole steering process, available and also with value to the whole company. And the second success factor is the way we designed our performance dialogues and brought this in business day-to-day life. Our ideas was not just only include the management levels, about being holistic in every dimension. So all people which are involved in the value chains have to be involved. So we gave them their individual responsibility for their KPIs, act for their KPIs. And second, also the KPIs. KPIs, we have a selection process which runs from the operational logic, which are problems, which are strategic goals, and also which are the midterm goals. And then we select the KPIs for every level and also for every time, because it's not every KPI is for a long decade. It has to be for the right time. But KPI says it itself. It's a key performance indicator. You can put a lot of KPIs in dashboards, but it's really important to focus on which is the key, which are the real factors we want to manage at this level, at this time, with these people. And if we don't need a KPI anymore, we have the flexibility to change, for sure. It's just a selection so the organization knows which are our focus themes right now. And the third success factor targets the sustainable anchoring of our mindset. We want to create routines and address the culture. Our routine, or routine circle you see in the slide, always starts with transparency. So if we have the transparency, we can see the deviations, work on it, and take actions. And if we take actions, we also have to observe it, and if it doesn't take the wrong direction, we have to improve again. That's a cycle, and the cycle runs and runs and runs. And this is very important because in our performance dialogue, we don't want to focus on the retrogradely explanation of the causes and why it was failing. We don't want a report to the upper level. We want a forward-focused discussion. Which are the actions which we're taking? Which ideas have the people or which did maybe fail, and what are the next ideas they could run? So we want to improve the KPI and bring the people in charge. And this is also complemented by a specific role. We have a coaching-orientated role model. So our business leaders are the coach of the coaches, and the coaches have their ideas, so they are in charge. And this is in every level. Now, how could we build the bridges between data quality efforts and established performance management? And why is it a good catalyst for the next level? If you transfer the challenges Markus told you from 2019 and the decade or the last years we run, there are two key factors why it was now the perfect decision. First, from a content-related perspective, we have an established digital-based platform. And this is very good because our technical concept is already based on using all data and all raw data or raw sources to steer. Or in business words, we successfully implemented a use case for all in the organization and also for the top executives. Also, the frequent platform performance dialogue, which runs every month, is itself a representative of a broad organization of the whole organization, where we talk about the top teams and also create with our routines success and improvement. And we can even bring this to the next level. We benefit if we see data as an own asset. And this is not too difficult because we give it just a dedicated role in our business discussions. We just have to create an own KPI which measures the data quality and then improve it, same as our business KPIs. It's almost the same, it's just another perspective. And second factor, which was a good idea to combine those initiatives, is also very important if you want a sustainable succeeding in your ideas. Because a lot of people have good ideas, but you have to have the right time and the maturity of the stakeholder to boost it. And we talk about data-driven discussions or decision-making. We always have data, we always have transparency, but the crucial factor are the people who act, and the people who act not just have to, because they're intrinsic motivated. And yeah, knowledge of this connection is the first step, but what is now the game changer? The game changer is that through the last 2 years, our top management knows the value, and we have also created trust in our system and a digital awareness of our top executives. So they know data are not an end in itself. Data were used to steer their own business. Now they know their impact of the valid and more objective discussions. So they saw it's possible. And it's necessary. And last but not least, they learned through the last 2 years with performance management, nobody will solve it for them. They have to change. They have to act because they have to prioritize and focus with their own organization and put energy in it. And this mindset shift will help us to get the next level also in business but also in data, so we benefit each other. What we measure and how this looks like will Christian tell you.
Yeah, thank you, Sebastian. Yeah, let me introduce myself real quick. I'm Christian Furber. I'm a long-time data management professional, and I was the lucky consultant in this round to start and supporting them from the very beginning in 2019, and so I could follow this journey, which is extraordinary, I would say, because it was so straightforward, basically. So as Marcus said earlier, we did some projects, some programs related to maturing the data foundation within the company. And at a certain point, we saw, okay, I mean, we are improving data quality by 0.1%, that's a success, okay, yeah. But we were kind of not achieving the results we wanted to. So the game changer we needed was commitment by the whole company. Because at the end of the day, where's data being created, maintained, updated? Where is it? It's at the whole company, yeah. At every single department, there's important data managed and maintained and created. So the luck we had in this project was that Sebastian's teams was already setting up a performance management for typical KPIs such as costs and revenues, and in the transportation business, timeliness of the transportation vehicles is quite important. So, and then we saw a big movement in the industry that everyone wants to become data-driven. So let me ask you, you would say that your company aims to become data-driven? Please raise your hand.
Everyone.
And which one of your companies has a data KPI in their top management? Okay. Yeah, so it's quite obvious, right? It's not magic. It's in the consulting business, you would say it's a no-brainer, yeah? If you want to become data-driven and you want to use data as an asset and want to improve with AI, want to become more efficient, want to create new revenues with data, so why don't you put it on all steering levels within the company and measure the success of the company also via data? So this was the very obvious argumentation we saw, and actually we didn't have many obstacles to do that, so we introduced a data KPI into performance management. And obviously data quality is a great way to start, yeah. And that's here you can see the major dashboard of the data performance management with this, which is separated between costs, processes, quality, security, and delivery. And within the quality section, we added a data KPI called conformance to data quality rules. Yeah? And this data KPI has a dashboard that can show you the daily and weekly and monthly status of data quality on all organizational levels. Yeah? From the shop floor to the top management. Yeah? Everyone has a data quality KPI now in this system, and the major areas where we talk about it are on level 1. Level 1 is between the CXOs and the regional vice presidents who are in charge of the regions, of the 6 ones, and on level 2 between the regional vice presidents and the site managers. So when the top management talks with the regional management about data quality, they already know if they have issues in some areas, yeah? And they can even drill down to the records that violate data quality rules. So it's a very dynamic reporting coming from a KPI to really the records in the database, yeah, that are erroneous at that time. Yeah? So they already discuss at a level of detail that is a new quality, I would say, to the top management. And they already start thinking about how to resolve these issues. And then the regional vice presidents take that discussion, which is more or less an incentive to them to get better, and to the site managers and discusses with them again in the different areas where there are pains, how to become better. And the good thing is also this is an intrinsic motivation via competition as well. Yeah? Of course, every site manager within a region wants to be the best. Yeah? Not only in a cost API, but also in a data KPI now. So this was like a big leap for us with small things that weren't really too difficult. Then on the next slide, what do we measure? Okay, I have to do it myself. Sorry. Okay, so here's also a factor of success, I would say. Yeah, I'm a data quality guy, I must admit. I did my PhD in it. I went here to the Symposium in 2009 the first time, so I love this area. Yeah. And we tend to use rich dimensions and measure everything in very academic ways. But at the end of the day, the crucial thing is to not overdo it with data quality measurement. Yeah? Measure the things that are most important to the business. That's the key learning we did here. And only if we really focus on things that are crucial to success, such as common IDs for buses in the different system where buses are needed, yeah, to pull the data with a simple push on the button, yeah, together to a 360 degree. Yeah. For example, we also have subway line data that needs to be having a common identifier to transfer, for example, the ticket yeah, between systems. So focus on the crucial things, and that's always unique identifiers for crucial business objects. Yeah? And secondly, critical master data. What type of bus is it? Does it have, what capacity does it have? Yeah, that's something quite important. Yeah? Also, on the other side, who owns the subway line? Yeah? Which is quite important also related to following process activities. Yeah? And also related to the business critical transactional data, you cannot imagine how many different systems are tracking the position of a bus. And of course, there is errors that can happen even with sensor data. And this is also quite critical because we need to report such data to the communities that gave us the contract for the bus transportation in order to show their customers in the app on when the bus will arrive, etc. So this is some critical transactional data that also needs to be measured. And we do this on all organizational levels that are measurable. Yeah? And a very crucial thing, last year we've been here and we talked about federated data governance. Yeah? We have a federated data ownership. In this case, the data owner is not a separate role. Basically, it's the manager of the site, it's the manager of the region, and the top management who owns the data. Also quite a no-brainer, I would say, but it took me a decade to find that out. So it's maybe not intuitively, but after a while you get it. I mean, if they own the cost, they also own the data. Yeah? If they own the resources, the buses, they also own the data about the buses. And this network of federated data governance is by somebody from the headquarter who basically represents the data consumers, yeah, like the site managers and their representatives. Maybe you can call them data stewards. They are more on the data producer side because they will add the data about the buses. They will have the devices that track the bus, etc. And on the consumer side, you have somebody from the headquarters usually that represents the people that make KPIs on the buses, that plan the need for new buses, etc. So, and they come together every 3 to 4 weeks and discuss new data quality rules. Yeah? And that way, we don't have discussions when it comes to improving data. We do have these discussions before the data has been added into this system. And this is how it works. Yeah? The data consumer needs are most likely the things we need to improve the data, yeah? And to use the data in a good way. And as I said, we define this together with the data producers and the consumers. And we do some prototypes. Everyone who has done data quality management will know that maybe the first run of a data quality rule might not be precise or complete. So here we show actual results, how it would look like if we would put the KPI into charge and align on that, and then we put it into our system. We developed a system based on AWS called DQM Factory, where we add these measurements, and then daily they will measure these KPIs, these data quality rules on the raw data. And we have two outputs of that. One, you already know, the performance management dashboards. And secondly, we do have stewardship dashboards for the representatives of the data owners who will look into it not only monthly when the performance dialogues are done, but also they can look into that anytime and see the daily status of data quality and know which records are currently not so good, yeah? And can act before top management starts to talk about. And that's actually something they do, yeah, because they don't want to talk to top management too often. Yeah? And yeah, this is a system that allows us to improve data and processes. We also discover, of course, many deficiencies in processes that create data. So in this case, we have the whole organization that can change that. And it is also being done. For example, we have new business requirements for data that are more precise than they were 2 years ago when we didn't do it. And at the end of the day, we have a system with trustable data where KPIs are not too often questioned anymore. There's lots of improvements on the output side. So Asha will talk about the technology behind it.
Thank you so much, Christian. May I have it? Before I start, let me introduce myself. Myself, Asha Joseph Pattani. I work as lead IT architect in Marcos department, and I lead this project Data Excellence. In an era where innovation, digitalization, and modernization are thriving, it's important to have a strong data management platform. Let us
I want to reinforce that. I'm sorry. Very important statement. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Yeah, let us have a look into how our data management platform looks like. Input to our platforms comes from different data sources. Data sources include internal applications, external applications, and output from different processes. The value that we generate out from this data management platform is the most critical thing. It's the high quality data products. Why do we tell it is high quality data products? How Christian has explained, we have integrated DQM, data quality factory, inside our data management platform. We have a master data management tool which has a unique identifier for all our master data. We have a data lake, we have a data warehouse, we have machine learning models, all integrated in our data management platform. As a huge organization, by Deutsche Bahn, we have a certain regulations, we have certain governance. Apart from all these things, we were able to achieve a harmonized and scalable architecture for our data management platform. In the past few minutes, like 30 minutes, you guys heard about how we started off with our data journey. What was our data strategy? What actions were done? How we wanted to achieve to the next level with the integration of data performance management. What is data performance management? How does it work? And Christian explained about the entire process, end-to-end process from data owners, data quality checks, and to the data quality scorecards to our KPI dashboards. I think it is time to look into the facts and figures that showcases about the result of this initiative. So this is a graph of last year. We went live with our data performance management in the middle of May. As you could clearly see, there is a steady rise in the increase of data quality. Why? when we had a proper management attention, actions were taken to improve the data quality. Steps were taken by all levels in the hierarchy for improving the data quality. People started doing it and we see the result. Certain actions, okay, all the actions cannot be implemented in 1 month. Certain actions took some time to go into production. That is why another steep line you can see by the end of the year. It is clearly evident data performance management was a catalyst in this disruptive breakthrough for our data quality. This helped us to push the boundaries and provide well infrastructure for better data quality. Apart from integration of data performance management, we also did small steps like improving, optimizing the, automating more process. And all these small steps, all these small actions helped us to have a data quality of more than 99%. When I tell or when we all explained about data quality, I think there are two different perspectives. What we are checking is the business level data quality. It is not like if a data have come into a data lake. That is not just the only checks that we are doing. We have implemented with our data owners the business level checks if that every row of the data fulfills the data quality measures. When, as I mentioned earlier, the goal or the value that we generate from a platform is to have a better digital products or data products. When we have a better data quality, we have a better digital products. People would start trusting the data. Management will have a better decision making. There are a lot of values that we derive out of it. We strongly believe, okay, our journey has not ended towards the data quality. We have miles to go before we sleep. And then when we start working towards having a focus of better data quality, improve the automation, enable our data community, and integrate sustainable solutions, automatically success will follow. I would now hand over to Marcus.
Coming to the end, I would like to just to summarize our experiences and learnings. And on this slide, you can see the path we have taken could be organized into 3 main areas and 5 steps. On this slide, maybe it's a strength line, but as Asha mentioned, data quality, data excellence, it's not a short run, it's a long life journey. And therefore, it's in reality more like a cycle, because with every data object, we run through each step. And this is our goal to realize that we could transform our company to a high-performance, data-driven company. But at the end, I would like to summarize perspective the 5 main success factors we made within the last 5 years. First of all, as my colleagues mentioned, data management is not a short run, it's a long life journey. The second one is measure the baseline. We saw it in the KPIs and the dashboards. There you can show your company, your business people, the improvement of your work, and you can realize quick wins. Establish a federated data governance or federated data ownership, because data management isn't just a technical issue or a technical measure, it's more than like a company cultural attitude. Number 4, and I love this, help your business departments. Make some simplification and automation of data production, and they will love you, because then you can help them to make their work easier. And last but not least, Christian said it's just a no-brainer. Start with the right people at the right time. Thank you very much.
Well, we have great time for Q&A. Pass the mic so that our virtual audience can also hear the questions with the answers.
Thank you very much. Excellent presentation. Thank you very much. This question's for Asha.
Yes.
Could you go to slide 13 real quick? You
Sorry.
have a slide in where you show external data from partners, and then that's a point of your data source as well as the external data. Sometimes it's easier to control what happens with your data inside that you create. How do you, thinking about it from like almost a weakest link perspective, how do you make sure that the external data meets the quality that you're trying to achieve with all the other internal data that you're using?
Yeah. So data quality, when we are putting the data quality measures, the most important KPIs that we have is for our own data. What I mentioned here is that in our data management platform, we have connected different data sources. This includes our internal data, external data, and output from different projects. There are certain set of data which we don't have any authority to make the changes. So for such data, there is no point in having that in our KPI dashboards and having to tell our data owners to correct them, right? So our first action is to focus on our main data domains. I think next year or so, it might come a time when we have achieved a target of a high quality data for our own data domains. We might work with the external data sources as well. But at the moment, we are working with the internal data quality rules.
One exception to it, Asha, if you look at the bus data, the manufacturers deliver a whole lot of this bus data, and one downside is a lot of manufacturers don't deliver it in a structured way, so we have some AI algorithms to crawl that, and then there are people within the company that make it clean, and work on it. And this is captured in these KPIs as well, in the master data to the buses. That's one exception where we already work with quite important external data. And there's these other obligations related to reporting external data. The company needs to provide that to Google, etc., as it's a transportation business. And there we do have separate quality processes to provide the data to external, but there's room for extension, I would say.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Other question in the room?
Yes, thank you very much for the presentation, and I like the start of it, that you had to buy a new system and you switched it to data management. I think it's excellent. My question is about the data quality, so it's for Asha again. I think, it still works. Data. I think the microphone is...
The microphone working?
Yeah. It's...
Did it get switched off?
Yes, I think it's switched off. Oh,
You can ask, I can hear. Okay, sorry.
Would you like to go to the microphone, to the podium?
What?
To the podium, Mike.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You weren't planning on that, I know, but it's going to be flexible. The virtual audience has to hear you, so use the podium on the mic. If you have a question, let's come up to the front.
I'm coming to my question. It's about the data quality. You said you already got to the point of 99.9%. Data quality is not one-dimensional, so I think the business is becoming greedy when they see a lot of information. So how does that evolve? Do you discover more data that you can add, or do you add in data quality dimensions? So maybe it's a few drop, but it's getting richer. What is your reaction on that?
When we started off with this data quality initiative, I wanted to include that when I spoke. We did not include all our data domains, okay? We started focusing on our important domains, like for example, vehicle or lines, as an example. And then we included only a set of applications, a set of crucial applications that are very critical for our business. And so that is we identified the important domains, we identified the set of important applications, like 5 to 6 applications that are driving factors for our business, running our buses. And then the third point was together with the data community to derive data quality critical rules. Why we told critical rules in our data quality scorecard, which Christian has explained. Let me move a slide back. So the output, we have it in data quality scorecard and data performance management. In the data quality scorecard, we have multiple rules. We have a lot of rules. But all these rules are not integrated into data performance management, because all these rules are not critical for our KPIs. And what we have seen is that for these domains, for these particular applications, for these particular data quality rules, when we integrated that into our performance management, we saw that a steady increase from, it was not 0%, I would never tell that, it was from 90% to 99, above 99%. So it is that. Every time we bring in new applications and new rules, it is clear, it's evident, like mathematically evident that there will be a drop. Yes. And that is the reason why we took the data from a span of last year, not why in the beginning of this year we integrated new applications, we integrated new quality rules, and there is a dip, because only when there is a dip, there is an action taken. Only when there is an action taken, we see a steady increase. I hope I replied, right?
Yeah, just one thing, because it's important for the whole performance management logic. We have to focus on some KPIs, and so we have to focus on some rules. It's the same logic. And also we are mapping the KPI raw sources, which are coming from data, and then we're mapping it with the important rules. And so we know, okay, for our finance KPI, for our revenue KPIs, all the stuff, which are the important raw sources. And then we don't have the discussion, is it important or is it not important, because the management knows, okay, we have to talk about the finances, and I don't want to have a discussion about the data quality is not good, then let's take it into the data quality dashboard, and then we improve it. And then there's no discussion about, is the number clear or not clear. It's your own responsibility to make it clear.
That's great. Is the microphone working? I have another question, but can I ask one myself too? Is that okay? Thank you. My question is, so I love the data KPI, which is putting data quality in front of the executive team. So it becomes important for them. How did you get to the level of getting the executive team to accept a data KPI? How did you sell that?
Should I say something?
Yeah.
As an external consultant, of course, I had to make the slides.
You can say something.
Yeah, so the good thing was that there was a certain level of acceptance for data anyway, because of some pains of the past. Yeah. And we clearly addressed that in the first place. And then we presented a solution that was not the data performance management yet, but it was to assign data ownership to the whole organization in a federated way. And that's what we did first. We took the measured results of data quality related to pain points they already knew, but this time they didn't need the gut feeling anymore. They saw the results and they saw the problems with real examples. And then we said we need some ownership here. Yeah, otherwise nothing will change. You can, of course, invest in consultancy, but if you don't employ your organization and you don't make your organization responsible for it, who creates the data, then nothing will really change. That was the first step into it. And then we had a certain time period where it worked quite well, where we could show, okay, it's going up. But as you have seen, there was like a very slight going up, and people felt, okay, this is the right direction. And then we bundled up with finance and the performance management team, and then you can tell how we introduced these KPI into the performance management, because that was basically your part, I would say.
Yeah. Thank you, Christian. Yeah. We have a few 10 golden rules we have in our performance management. And one of the rules is we talk about every KPI at every time if it's necessary. And if it's necessary, it's not the management who says it's necessary, it's the lower level who says it's necessary. So it's in their charge to say the KPI is not valid, or we have to take an action to get more money or something like this, or cost reduction, but it's the responsibility of the lower level. And the second thing is, in the mindset, we are not accepting a data discussion in the performance dialogue, because the data producers are the one who owns the KPI. So why should we talk about data quality with a higher level management who can't do anything against? It's their own responsibility to do it better. So it's totally accepted if they come with an idea, okay, the KPI is not valid, so I took initiative and take an action in 1, 2, 3, 4, and then next time the KPI is valid. And that's the discussion logic we installed for every KPI. And so it wasn't a big challenge to say, okay, now we are not taking every KPI with data perspective, we have a second data perspective with our own KPI, who measured it from the other side.
Thank you for the presentation. My team is not the only one struggling with the data quality journey, so thank you for sharing. I have 3 questions. One is, in your presentation, can you indicate where your data quality fixes are happening? And second is, you have 9,400 people, correct? Employees. How did you manage to execute that plan? That's the second. And then the third, I believe, was forgot.
Okay,
Two.
I can answer the first question. Where is this change is happening, right?
Where's the fixes?
Where is the fixes happening? Yeah. And the fixes should happen where the data is produced. We should correct the source before we correct any other system. We have, as we explained, we have a federated data community, data owners. When we have these dashboards, right, data quality scorecard or dashboards, we have once in 3 weeks a community meetup with the particular data owners, and we look into the dashboard and we explore where are the flows in the data. These data owners would go to the regional people or the people from the region and the floor people who are the data producers, and steps and actions are taken to correct this data. If you remember the slide where I showed that, okay, we had a steep curve. So this steep curve is when actions were taken, which was communicated to the producers of the data. We had a steep curve. But then there were certain actions which took some time. We need automation, we need process improvement. That was a steady line, it took time. So to answer your question, all these should happen from the source data. That is why we have data owners. That is why we implemented a master data management tool. The role of the master data management tool is that we don't have the master data in all the systems. We don't enter it manually. Instead, it is entered in one place, and from that one place the data is sent out automatically to different systems. So I hope I told the points. Anything to correct?
Maybe you want to add something, and I would like to add something as well.
And I want to add something to question number 2. How did we execute it in the organization? Asha mentioned it. We had a data community in the earlier times. The data community was about, say, 100, 150 people who are really enthusiastic. So, but you said we have about 10,000 people in our organization. Let's say 90% is more or less the operational people who are bus drivers, for example, and so the rest is more or less 1,000 people who work in the offices. And the game changer was in the data performance management, that we have, through our performance management, over 100 dialogues I mentioned before, we have more than 560 people who are every month in the performance management. So almost half of the office organization is now getting in contact with all the KPIs, and not just the 150 data enthusiastic. So we matched the performance side with the data enthusiastics, and so we have a lot of people who would want to improve it and have to improve it because they have to talk about every month in this trained way.
Yeah. Plus, we are providing as a central data team services to them. because some errors can be fixed with support of algorithms, etc., or some on-site visits to discover some root causes to fix them. So in this case, the data team will dig deeper in order to resolve the Pareto problems, that cause 80% of the things. So it's a combination of different things. I think coverage is important, and then providing centralized services to the whole organization related to that.
Just to add one small sentence, now in this 30 minutes you guys saw our success story, right? I think until now it was never, I always tell, it was never a bed of roses, okay? We had, there were a lot of struggles to bring the acceptance. People should start realizing it. As from the IT, we had to show that we are also supporting this initiative, okay? So it was not like in one fine day, okay, data quality was increased, check, and yeah, just to add in.
I have a question from the virtual audience, if you can do a quick answer, and then we have one final question and we'll have to wrap. How many contributors does it take to maintain your data performance management platform, and how many should it take?
It's a tricky question, right?
To maintain? It's not a few hours, because maintaining is not a problem. We have to set it up. This was the huge effort, to set it up and then bring the people in the organization to work on it, because we're just showing transparency with the KPI. The actions behind, this is more effort.
Okay, and then I'll fire a final question here.
Hey, hi, great presentation. If you go back to that slide 13 where you have the architecture.
Sorry.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah, you did mention about fixing the data quality at the source level. When it comes to actual, like when you see you have a data warehouse, you have models running, is there any kind of thresholds which you guys set and basically stop the process that the data doesn't go to data warehouse or any other application where the data is historically stored? When a certain threshold, is there a routines or process which you have created in your solution?
Yeah, of course. So the point of action what we have is that one of the most important thing what we have to see from here is that we develop data products. Okay, once the data quality checks are done and once it is validated, only after a certain point of time such data quality products are developed, and this is only after that we send this data into data warehouse. For example, if you have a row of records where it doesn't have FIN, I don't know how do we tell if the FIN, what is
vehicle
FIN?
Identification
my God. Vehicle identification number also, this data will never be sent to different levels of applications. So such quality checks have been implemented in our data management platform so that any other system will not have this data.
So I think we're out of time. You guys have given a great presentation and a lot of insight. So can we have a round of applause for the presenters? And I especially like the way you started your presentation, talking from the perspective of the business value in the ecosystem and the key sort of the framework that was necessary for how the organization would look at measurement of performance over time. And I think it's brilliant that you've implemented a data KPI and that gets attention at the C-suite level. So great presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.